Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bravo Tea with a Stay at Home Mom. I'm Erica, and I'm ready to talk all things Bravo. Welcome back, everybody. On this episode, we are going to be recapping Summer House and getting into a little Bravo tea before we go there. Michelle from the Valley. I know I just kind of like dove right into it. It's because I saw this last night when I was watching TV on the couch late at night. I was like, Michelle from the Valley, already out and about with another man's. They were at Craig's. I saw it on Brittany's story. So it was Jared Lips, Brittany, Michelle, and then this new man. And I went, who's this new man? So I saw everyone was tagged. So I said, this is when I need to put my investigation hat on and I need to dive deep for everybody. So I tried to click on it and then it wasn't going. So I was like, all right, I'll just stare at it and I'll manually type it in on Instagram. I manually typed it in and then it took me right to this man. And I think they have been together since like the beginning of March. So I was like, whoa, girl, are you even like divorced or are you officially like, I know they said they were separated, but are you legally separated? Are you still living together? Like, this is why it was just confirmed we're getting a reunion for the Valley that I am so excited. I'm getting more excited about this show than Vanderpump Rules. This is giving us so much because they're all new. Like I know Jax, Brittany, and Kristen are veterans to reality TV, but they're new to this like crowd. And it's been a minute since they've been on TV, but I think the show is honestly surpassing Vanderpump because I hate to say it, everything has an expiration date. Now that Lala and Sheena are kind of like in a different place on that show because they're the only ones on the show that have kids. I don't know if they would move them on the Valley. I really don't want them to, because I kinda like how everything is, and then, like, if we get them off Vanderpump, who's gonna be on Vanderpump? Then they're gonna, like, bring randos in, which I don't like because then it's not organic situations. Like, I think the reason the Valley is flowing is they really are all friends, and you could tell that. Yeah, but Michelle has a new man, and now we just gotta get Brittany getting a new man because they have unfollowed each other on Instagram, but then it actually went to a next level, and Brittany blocked Jax and the publicist
Rotten Hill.
because it's alleged that Jax went in a bathroom in Montreal and got it on with the publicist. Lori K, her name is. So she represents oh, well, she did represent Brittany, but I guess not no more because Brittany has her blocked. She represents Jax in more than one way, I guess we're finding out, allegedly, and represents like Schwartz, Olivia Flowers, I think, just some Bravo celebrities. And apparently that's what went down. Like when he was on his little trip, they did some extracurricular activities in the bathroom and I don't know. I didn't believe that, but now that Brittany has blocked both of them, that's weird. Because it's like, I guess I understand if you wanna block Jax, but even that, I'm like, wow, I mean, they do still, like, co-parent. They said they were still gonna do the podcast. I don't think that's gonna be happening either. Um, like, I was like, maybe you could just, like, hide. You know how you don't have to unfollow people or even block them? You could just hide them so, like, they never pop up and they'll not know any difference except maybe that you don't like their stuff anymore because you never see it. But for her to block him and then her that's weird because Lori K was just at the Watch What Happens Live a couple weeks ago when Brittany was on. So, I find this all very fascinating, and that's what I mean. This reunion is gonna be wild because we got them not together anymore, and we got Jesse and Michelle not together anymore, and Michelle's got a boyfriend. So, it's gonna be very interesting. And then I am gonna wonder, though, how the show will continue on. I mean, I guess they could do, like, group events still because at the end of the day, Jax and Brittany and Michelle and Jesse can't like, never see each other ever again because they do share kids. So they're gonna have to be in the same room at the same time for, like, pickup, drop off, whatnot. Still gonna have to talk about the kid and school and maybe possibly, if they want to, still do stuff together with the kid. I know that's what Jax and Brittany have been doing, but I don't know if they'll do it now because of all this. But we could get like, Michelle and Brittany at their houses or with the girls and then the guys together. I think it's actually going to be like so fascinating because we're going to see Brittany on the prowl. I said in my last episode, let's get her with one of those Montana boys. They were on Watch What Happens Live when Kristen and Schwartz were on. Let's get her with one of them, like Kristen Cavallari's dating the one. Let's get her with them. She's a nice Kentucky muffin. Um, I don't hope that Jax gets a girlfriend or Jesse, even though I think we're going to find out on the episode on Tuesday of The Valley what has happened with Michelle. And I'm still dying to know whatever producer they were talking about. Like, die if it's Randall. Just kidding. Because it's like an actual Hollywood movie producer. Even though, speaking of Randall, since we're all on the gossip train, I heard a little while ago, which I forgot to mention, Faith Stowers, she was the one that had all the problems with Stassi and Kristen, and she's the one that actually did have sex with Jax, which caused Brittany to say, Rotten Hill. She is coming out with like a tell-all podcast, and then she is actually going to be in a Randall Emmett production. Now, I did not know that Randall Emmett was still even making movies, let alone anyone even wants to be in his movies after all the shit talking that everyone has done, including, 50 Cent, Money by Monday Randall. I'm shocked anyone even wants to be in his movie. I mean, we know that he didn't pay Jax any money back from the loan he gave him. So when you loan people money, you're supposed to get interest on it. And he did that one time for a film. And then the second time he was like, oh, due to COVID, can't make the film. And Jax is like, that's okay. Just give it back. And then I'll give it back to you when you make the film. He's like, can't give it back. Spend it all. It's like on Dumb and Dumber when the suitcase was empty and the money was gone. It was just a bunch of Post-its. And it was like, I owe you. It was like, I owe you $250,000 for that Lamborghini we bought. Like, that's Randall. Money by Monday, Randall. So Faith better not hope she's getting paid. And I don't know. I wouldn't want to give the movie a watch to support them, but I would like to give the movie a watch because I'm just so curious. Like I said, I didn't even know he was still gonna like do stuff or like who would want to work with him. I don't know. It's like, yeah, I hear he has no money. So how are you gonna put up, money for production of a movie unless he's getting people that are doing it for him, but then he doesn't pay them back probably. I don't know. I am curious if he dates. He's kind of off the grid. I don't follow him on Instagram, though. I could type his name in and creep. Maybe I'll do that later and then report back on my next one. But yeah, Lala pretty much keeps it ironclad, whatever they are going to court for. And she doesn't like to discuss it, but she always just says she wants to get more custody. I don't know if it's because she really has reasons to or she just wants to. I don't know. But in other news, Joe, or known as Joseph to Schwartz, was going off on Instagram. She was answering questions on a live that people were typing in. And this is why she got her reputation of Katie saying you're on crack, because she's very like skittish, very like strange. She's just seems like she just drank a whole cup of sugar, something energy. She said, yes, I sucked Schwartz off. Like somebody asked that, don't know why. And she's like, and he was great at sex. I don't know why Katie had a problem with him and said his little Tom Schwartz Jr. didn't work because he was great at it. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm sure he's crawling in a corner right now because we now know Schwartz has a girlfriend who he tells the world is his girlfriend and, announces in rooms that he goes into probably that that's his girlfriend and on social media, and she's 24. I think her name's Sophia, which is so funny. That's my youngest name. But it's so weird that Joe is like kind of publicly embarrassing him like this and herself. I mean, I don't know why she's ranting on. I think it's just to make herself look like she's not crazy. She's definitely doing a Raquel, which is ironic. Like I said on my last episode, she went on Raquel's podcast, and I'm like, they have so much in common because what they do is complain about these people, but then yet submerge their whole conversations in life around these people. So all she's doing is bad-mouthing Schwartz, trying to make it look like I'm not crazy because Schwartz is like, "I don't think I led her on." And she's like, "I need the world to know that you led me on and I'm not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I don't care at this point. I still think you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but that's fine." And then she's saying she's not friends with Kristen Doty anymore, and she's still waiting for an apology. And I don't know the whole story of why they're not friends, but it's so funny. The friend Zach took to Instagram to message, like, write a comment underneath and was like, you don't have to even, like, say that you and Kristen aren't friends anymore, like, she wouldn't wanna be your friend, or she was saying there's no chance of us ever being friends again, and he's like, "You don't even have to say there's no chance because I know there's no chance." Like, again, deflecting, trying to make herself not look like the crazy one and, like, point blame at Kristen, but if you're too crazy for crazy Kristen, then you're crazy, girl. "Hey, you're crazy, bitch." I mean, I just thought the whole thing was very distasteful, just talking about the sex life thing. And then she said that um somebody asked if her and Katie were like friends, which is like, they're never gonna be friends. And she's like, "No, we're not friends," but she actually apologized to me at the reunion, which I think is like great because I think she saw like that I wasn't crazy. And it's like, no, I think everyone still thinks you're crazy, but maybe Katie sympathized a little bit with the, how Schwartz just wants to not hurt anyone's feelings and sometimes not be honest. Like, I do think he led Joe on. I don't think she's wrong about that. But also, if you guys are sleeping together and he's not telling people when you go places or to your friends that she's my girlfriend or like we are dating, then that's your own fault, I think. I think you're in denial. And then she was saying, "Oh, I do think that Schwartz and I will be together. Give it due time." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm sure him and his girlfriend do not appreciate these comments." It's like, "Due time? What are you going to kill her?" We need to check on the safety of Schwartz's girlfriend at all times because Joe said in due time they will be together. Like, that is weird. I don't think he would be together with you before, but he definitely won't be after all this rant because he'll be like, "Oh my God, you are crazy. You are giving crackhead energy vibes." I'm excited for the reunion for the Vanderpump Rules too, just to see her on it. I was feeling bad for her a little bit because I was like, "Oh my God, she's like hysterically crying and was led on by Schwartz." But now after that Instagram live, I don't feel bad for her because she's digging her own grave like Raquel. My God, maybe they could get side by side graves. I mean, they just need to stop. They hate all these people. They say for their mental health, it's not good to be like around these people, but all they are doing is talking about these people. And they know it's because that's all anyone wants to hear out of their mouth. You think we want to hear Joe talk about anything besides her and Schwartz or like Kristen or Katie? No, we don't. And we can obviously see she can't do hair very well because that hairdresser in the episode had to come, like, check on everything, and she's like, "Is everything okay? Like, I think you're bleaching his scalp." And, Raquel is just, like, a whole other story, like, she said she didn't wanna come back on the show for her mental health. All she's doing is talking about the show. At least you would've got a paycheck if you came back to the show. I think Bravo actually shoulda given her more money, but said, "Look, we're not gonna have you full time, we're gonna get you a couple times." That would have been amazing. I mean, we would say screw the Valley, screw everything on TV. That would have been amazing if we got some Raquel camera time. My bet would have been they would have made her go to dinner with Lala, um, made her semi-ish try to talk to Ariana in a group setting, but Ariana would have shut that shit down in 5 seconds. And then Tom would have like come over and like cried or something with her. I don't know. That's just my thought. We won't have to worry about it because it's not happening. Oh, and I think like Sheena would have it would have been a group setting with Sheena too, and she would have flipped out. Yeah, that would have been great. God. But I think that's all kind of for like the Bravo gossip. Oh no, one other thing that I had waited so long to post until I read a lot about it because I knew it wasn't true. They were saying Andy Cohen is going to leave and be replaced. And I was like, there is no way in fresh hell that this is happening right now. And then I read and they said no, and he said no. So I was like, okay. But now a little bit of grapevine whispers and me listening to some podcasts, I'm wondering if they are renegotiating things, and that's why we're not getting BravoCon this fall. We're waiting another year. They're lying and saying there's no budget because of the Olympics. I don't like totally doubt that. Like, I'm sure they're spending a ton of money on the Olympics, and they're like, I think BravoCon can take a back seat because the Olympics is like definitely a bigger money maker and a bigger like appeal to mass audiences. But I just thought it was weird. They're like, "Oh, we don't have money." Like, it was like Bridesmaids, like, "Help me, I'm poor. We can't do BravoCon. Help me." I don't know. I would be so upset if Andy was ever replaced, unless it was on his own terms, but I still would be sad, but definitely would never want him to be fired. I mean, screw all these stupid allegations with all these stupid idiots like Brandy Glanville, like coming at him saying, "Oh, you inappropriately FaceTime me." Bitch, everything you did on the shows you were on were inappropriate. Like, are you serious? I still don't really know what's going on with the Caroline Manzo stuff. Brandy Glanville is still bitching and she's like, I need them to release the footage so I can be vindicated. But she is kind of vindicated, but she still wants the footage released. I say roll the tapes. I want to see it, honestly. Unless Caroline is like paying somebody off for the tapes not to air, because I don't know, like, unless you buy the rights to the tapes, and because if Brandy is vindicated and nothing's really that bad that we can't see, like, I don't know how Caroline could be so like headstrong that we can't see it. I don't know, but I'm also sad we can't see it. Or like, I wish we could just take all her parts out. I want to see the rest of it. But we're going to take a quick little break, and then we're going to recap Summer House. Do you ever struggle finding unique gifts for kids that they will be excited about? Look no further. Ellie and Mila Boutique has everything from custom jean jackets, backpacks, sneakers, and more. Go to ellieandmila.com to use my code BRAVOT10 to receive 10% off your order. That's ELLIE and MILA.com to use my code BRAVOT10 to receive 10% off your order. I know both of my daughters have a custom jean jacket from there, and they love it, and I love it. Every time they wear it, everyone compliments it, asks me where I got it. So if you are thinking about getting one for your own child, a family member, or as a gift, these are perfect. So again, that's ellieandmila.com and use my code BRAVOT10 to receive 10% off. And we're back. Before we dive into Summer House, I have one more gossip news that I forgot. Jennifer Pedranti, I don't know how you pronounce her last name, on the Real Housewives of Orange County, got engaged to that paint splattered denim jacket wearing Ryan. So my prediction is they already wrapped filming for Real Housewives of Orange County. So they're done, which I can't believe that. Isn't that wild that they're already done that? Next season, I bet one of the trips or the main trip will be her bachelorette party for sure. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see their wedding on camera. I know it's gonna be, ugh, it's terrible, but I don't know. Um, Also, we're getting Joe back from the OG cast, so she's gonna come back for a little bit. And then we know we're getting Alexis, like, bleh. And then Vicky is getting her own confessional. Thank God, Queen. Like, we know she said she wasn't going to come back unless she was full-time paid housewife. But I think under the circumstances with the whole Shannon and Alexis debacle, she's like, gotta rally for my girl. I'm hoping we get her like at a group dinner though, because that's when we really need you, Vicky. Like, team up with Shannon and scream at Tamara, "You're supposed to be my friend." That's what we need. We need energy like that when she's like, "You don't talk to him like that." When it was like the Brooks thing. Oh God. I'm going to see them on Thursday. I cannot wait. leaving all by myself to stay with my best friend from college in Boca Raton, Florida. We don't know if it's Boca Raton or Boca Raton, though. That was on the Jeff Lewis podcast. And funny enough, it's because Doug Butin will be there also. So he was like raising the question. So let's just call it Boca, honestly. But it's going to be Vicky and Shannon and Doug Butin. So excited. I'm going to do a whole special bonus episode with my friend down there. And we're going to recap all the gossip and tea of the show, tell you what they're wearing, what they're talking about, everything in between. So I'm very excited for that. I've been packing. I've been rubbing my self tanner on so I don't look pale as a ghost down there. But let's get into Summer House. So we get West, Ciara, and Paige driving, and we all know West is driving. And then we get Danielle and Gabby driving up, and they are both single gals ready to mingle. Danielle has been hitting it with secret people on the times that she's not at the summer house. So I think we need to let Gabby take a turn to get some men's. And she needs to wing woman her instead of worrying about herself. But Ciara is talking about her signing her modeling contract. And she was saying that this will take her like out of the country for a couple months at a time. And you can see West face. I think that's why he's hesitating, like making it boyfriend, girlfriend type or saying like, oh, we're dating. Because when the summer is done and she's off in Europe for 3 months, are you guys going to be still together? It's different if you've already been together for a while and then this would happen. Of course, you're not gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna break up with you because you're going to Europe to model." That's terrible. You make it work long distance. But look at Craig and Paige. They never lived in the same location. I also think this is why Ciara is holding out on West because maybe she's scared if they get too close, she'll be sad when she goes and adventures all around modeling. But, Lindsay arrives at the house, and she said that Carl went to Ohio for a golf outing. I'm assuming this was his, like, actual bachelor party, so she's talking to Danielle about it, and she's like, "I liked the alone time." It is just so funny how much she loves when he's not around. Like, that one Friday he wasn't there, she's like, "Oh god, this is great, we're not arguing. You're only here for, like, a day." That is so weird. I mean, I do get it, like, you live together, you film this show together, but that's what being married is gonna be like. You think you're gonna live in separate houses? Like, I see my husband every day, all the time. So, I don't know, it's very strange that she's like, "Oh, I just need him to leave for, like, periods of time." It's like, "Okay." And I mean, I'm sure she does do, like, appearances, as does he, like, now that he is back with Loverboy, even though they're broken up, so it doesn't matter. He leaves and does, like, appearances, so it's like, I don't think you guys are, like, fully together all the time, and, of course, if you're going off to work and he's not, because at the time right now he's not working, like, you're not with him, so it's just she strikes me as the type that, like, I know she does wanna get married and have kids, but also I could see her, like, being alone forever in New York City and just, like, dating, like, being like a Samantha Jones of Sex and the City, like, kinda like that. Um, but Danielle is just informing everyone that she did get laid again by a different man. The gang's all going out. I love when they go out. And Amanda impressed us this week. She stayed out the whole time, everybody did, and stayed up late the whole time with Kyle. I was like, "Look at her go." Kyle's like, "Oh, thank God, this is what I need and want." But it's like, you met her and she wasn't like that. So it is funny though that he, like, just appreciated so much that she was doing that. But Gabby is on the prowl. My girl is burning holes in everyone's backs, looking at those men, trying to get them to turn around to see if she likes them. She said her dad is getting on her case because her sister has a boyfriend. So she's like, I'm just taking my time. It's funny. I do like Gabby. I liked her last year too, but I feel like we're getting even more personality out of her. And I like her a lot. She's good. And West is just telling Lindsay over the loud music. I always love when they have, like, serious conversations over this, like, really loud music. He's saying, like, maybe him and Ciara would hang, after the summer is over, but then that's when he brought up the modeling stuff. And I totally get it. And I don't think he wants to be a jerk and lead her on and it not be right. I can't tell if he's like a F boy or not, but in the previous episode, we heard that he didn't really have a lot of serious relationships. It was like 2. So I don't know. I really would love if they worked out. I don't think they are together because I feel like we would know. I don't think Bravo would be like, oh, please don't post together for like almost a whole entire year so you don't ruin the surprise. It's like, meh, that's a little impossible. Um, but then we get Danielle, Paige, and Kyle going in another room, so it's, like, more quiet, and they're just chit-chatting, and Paige is like, "Oh," Craig is like, my friend, like, my best friend," and she's like, "But, I mean, I love him too," and Danielle's like, "Oh, that's, like, weird," and then, she's like, "I know I'm gonna marry Craig one day, but it's just gonna be on my terms." Now, I know this is just Paige's personality, but I don't like that she's like, "It's gonna be on my terms." Well, it needs to be on both your terms because 'cause you're both getting married. Like, it's 50-50. I'm not saying he should rush you into marriage tomorrow, but, like, if, like, 3 years from now you still don't wanna get married, Craig has said he would, live a life without Paige. He wouldn't be, like, happy at first, but he would be able to. And I agree with him, like, "Girl, you can't take forever." You just can't. And he's 5 years older than her, so he doesn't wanna be getting married at, like, age 50. I'm just being dramatic, but I just don't like when she says, like, "It's gonna be on my terms and when I'm ready." It's like, "No, it's gonna be on when both of you are ready and both of you sit down and find a happy medium, comfortable timeline and get on the same page together." Not like we're just on your page and Craig has no page. So then Danielle says, "Can I just be real with you right now?" She's like, "I think you give Craig nothing." And I was like, Danielle." And then Kyle's like, Danielle, I mean, we all think that sometimes, but like none of us say it, but tipsy Danielle is at this point, probably drunk Danielle. And it's kind of rich coming from a person that has no boyfriend. I didn't watch Winter House, but I heard she was very desperate and annoying with that guy she was hooking up with. She's hooking up with all these random men's right now that we're never meeting. And she doesn't have a job currently, people keep saying, which I was like, "Oh, okay, that's interesting." So, yeah, like, don't wanna take advice from you, and Paige said that in the confessional, like, "You're boyfriendless and jobless. Thank you, next." But that's when she says, "I wanna marry him, but on my terms," which, I don't like, and that's kinda what Danielle is saying, like, "You're not really giving him anything, and he's given everything," and I feel like Paige would maybe even say that too. I think she does a lot for Craig we don't see. And she said that in the after show. She's like, "I got his haircut to look like that." And it looks great, by the way. Um, Obviously, we don't need like a tally mark and we're not keeping score of like who is doing more. But I think everyone is just starting to see that since she won't move, like Craig's gonna, like everyone's like, oh, I think Craig's gonna move, which that would be so weird to me. He has a beautiful home down there. He films a show down there too, by the way, that he needs to stay in his home. Like they all drive to another home to film their show. And she could come back in the summer when they're filming Summer House. Like it's not all year, whereas his can be at different times of the year. It's like not just based in the summer. And he has his store sewing down south, his whole business down there, and he has a law firm down there and is a practicing lawyer there. Like if he moved to New York, what's he now going to open a sewing down Broadway, like, and then open a whole new law firm and then fly back to be on his show so he doesn't lose his job on Bravo. I mean, just doesn't make sense to me for him to move to New York. Makes more sense for them to keep maybe an apartment up there, or if when they want to go there, Airbnb that shit. Like, I don't know. I'm getting anxious wondering what's going to happen. I want to see a proposal this summer. I hope so. That would be so wonderful. Like, in the Hamptons when he comes for a weekend, that would be nice. Or, like, I think Paige would want it, like, when they're by themselves because 'cause she'd be like, "Oh, you did it with all these, like, peons watching us. I can't believe that," in the house. I could see, like, if they They went to Italy already together, but if they did that again, something exotic like that, I could see it. That could be it. So we need to keep our eyes peeled for any exotic trips that they go on. But everyone is so drunk when they come back home. I love it. And like I said, I just love that everyone stayed out the same length of time. Gabby falls off her chair and Kyle was like, "You make sitting look hard." Oh, and then yeah, Amanda being up late, I was so impressed. And then Ciara slept in West's room. So they do a little kissy kissy, like, and then she's like, "All right, that's enough." I mean, it's so hard. Like, on one hand, I love that she's not just being a hoe and she's like, "Oh, come on in," like a Danielle. I mean, good Lord. But, and also don't judge at the same time. But she has to think about it. They have to share this house together. Like, Danielle could be like, bada bing, bada boom, bye. Never have to see and speak to you again. She has to see and speak to Wes and possibly for other seasons too. And they have something deeper than them just sleeping together. They definitely have a real world like connection. They like to hang out with each other. It's not like on Bridesmaids when that guy, John Hamm, wakes up and he's like, "Oh, I think you need to leave." I brought up Bridesmaids before too, but oh my God, that movie is just so funny. But it's true. It's like not like that at all with them. But I get it. West kind of, wants to explore that other realm with Ciara. But Lindsay said the balloon guy Joe is coming. And she's alerting Danielle and Gabby. She's like, since I'm not single, I want to set you guys up because I miss doing stuff like this. And I'm like, oh my God. And then Amanda said when they were talking about like, I'm sorry, I'm skipping ahead a little and like over the place. But okay, so balloon guy Joe is gonna come for Danielle and Gabby. So they're all setting up for a party. It's the extraterrestrial party. And they're just kind of all chilling, having their like morning ish, early afternoon beers. Amanda's floating in the pool. And West is asking Amanda and Paige, like, how long until you let Kyle hit it? And Amanda's like, I needed like 2 or 3 dates and then it was okay. And she's like, why are you like getting concerned? You're getting in like the friend zone with Ciara. Cause that is true too. Since they have a nice like bond, he could be getting scared that it's friendshipy, but I don't think so because they're like sleeping in each other's beds and kissing. So you wouldn't be doing that with friends. So he's like, no, I don't think that. It's just like, I guess I'm wondering, it's been like 6 weeks and it's like, when's that going to happen? And then they were like, how many real, like legit, not, they wanted to say basically when we're not on camera, how many dates have you had? And he said 2. So I don't know if that counts the one that was filmed and then another one or like 2 separate ones from that. But yeah, I see his points. They're valid. If you do like someone a lot, you want to take that next step also. So maybe he wants to take that next step to see if they want to be boyfriend or girlfriend. Or I feel like Ciara wants to like be boyfriend and girlfriend and then sleep together. Like it's like 1950, like she's holding out for marriage. Which fun fact, remember back in the day, Nick Lachey and Jessica Simpson said they did that? Remember that show, The Newlyweds? Oh God. Imagine if they had kids because they were both so, I mean, they still both are so attractive. Those kids would have been fascinating to see. I think we need to AI generate their kids. That would be something very interesting to see. Awkward for them, but something we need to do. But Carl and Danielle are having a chat. And he is telling anybody but Lindsay about him thinking about going back to Loverboy and doing the non-alcoholic like branding. And he's like, obviously I need to like think about it and know like exactly what I'd be getting and what I'd be doing. But he's like, I really feel like this break was good, but I'm excited and like ready and would want to do this. And she's like, oh, did you talk to Lindsay? He's like, no, definitely not. And she's like, "Why are you afraid she's gonna shoot it down?" He's like, "Yeah, I mean, she could just be very judgmental. So, like, I like to get all my eggs in a basket before I, like, present it to her." Like, literally anytime him and Lindsay talk about each other with a friend, it's like, red alert, red flag, hello, sirens going off, like, "Woo, woo, don't do it." I mean, I'm not saying I say yes to everything my husband says or presents to me and vice versa, but I'm not scared to talk to him and he's not scared to talk to me. So I find it so scary for Carl that he's like, "Oh no, I'm scared to tell Lindsay this." Like, she's also on the other hand bitching you don't have a job. Maybe she'll be like, "Yeah, whatever at this point, go work at McDonald's down the street. I don't care. Be a barista at Starbucks instead of getting a $20,000 career coach. Do something." But Danielle also is put in an awkward position because she doesn't want to say too much because we see how she was iced out by them last year and how it affected their friendship severely. And I have to say, I think she really is like back, in a good place with both of them separately and together. So she's like, I'll just sit here and listen. I'm not going to say anything. And then we get everyone dressing up for the theme of the party. So we get Balloon Guy Joe coming. And Danielle's running right over, making a beeline, running right over to him. And Gabby's like, I don't want him to see me like this because I look scary. I'm going to have him see me at the party when I'm looking good. And Amanda and her and Paige were eating this. It looks so good. It looked like orzo pasta salad. So instead of like using like pasta noodles, it was like orzo, which I'm like, oh, I need to try that. Whenever we make pasta salad, I just use like pasta noodles, like penne or something like that. I'm trying this though because it looked delicious. I feel like one time at Whole Foods I got one and it was like a Greek one with like feta and olives. Very good. See, these are the goofy things I notice when they're talking. I'm like, oh, what are they eating? Let me zoom in on that and make that. But she's like, no, I'm running away. I don't want him to see me looking like this. So everyone gets dressed up. Everyone is like killing it with the outfits and the themes, honestly, this season. I think is the best themes for the parties. I thought like the race one was good. This one is so fun. And it's like later at night too, so that's cool too. They started at like I want to say like 4. Um so that was kind of cool that they all kind of got to relax too. But also, not only is Gabby like, I don't want him to see me like this. I don't know why Danielle thinks it's a good idea for him to see her with a Reynolds wrap tinfoil like space hat, like Craig was swearing on Southern Charm. Like, it's like, we get that the theme is extraterrestrial, but the party has not started. And you're like seriously flirting with this guy in like a tinfoil hat, thinking aliens are coming. Like, please take that off of your head. She looked so goofy. Uh, but Amanda, Paige run upstairs because they're like, they stayed out. They did like a dirty stay out, as Snooki and Dina call it on Jersey Shore. They meatballed it up a little bit because Amanda flashed her nipple when she was talking, or when Kyle, Danielle, and Paige were talking. I forgot to say that. She like flashed the nipple because she was getting spicy. Kyle's like, oh my God, I'm so turned on that Amanda's getting like drunk and staying out at a bar. He's like, I love it. So her and Paige are like, oh, we're not used to this life. We need to like go sit and rot in this bed for a little bit. And Ciara comes up and they're just like, yeah, Wes was kind of like talking to us. Cause he knows if he says these things to Amanda and Paige that they're going to run and tell Ciara. But I think he wants them to run and tell Ciara because he doesn't want to say to Ciara, like, I think it's been enough time. We need to have sex. So he's like, I'll just tell her friends and I know they'll run right to her with the hot gossip. So as they're saying this, he's creeping in his alien outfit, and it's like a full zip up, like lime green, can't even see his head. And I'm like, is he gonna wear that outside? He'd probably have a heat stroke and die. But he like creeps up and he's like shushing. I think the cameraman, I don't think it was Ciara. I think it was the cameraman. Not that the cameraman's gonna talk, but pops out, scares the living daylights out of them. They probably pooped their pants in that bed. Um, he obviously heard some of it, and then Ciara said, "Get out, we're talking about you. Bad the gossiping, bad mouthing me, talking about sex." So, I don't know. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's get it. Let's talk about it because she was on Watch What Happens Live, but like we said, she can't really ruin it and tell us, but she did go to his family's ranch, farm, whatever you would like to refer to it, in the fall. But current day, I like have a feeling they're not together, which is sad. Um, I don't know. I hope it's like good terms though, and they can like continue to be in the house together. But Chris appeared from last year. Do we all remember like boring Chris? How sad would you be to come back? Because it's the same house too. It's not like it's a different house. It's like all the same people except you. Well, and Sam's not there either. Oh, and what Maya. I never liked Maya. Like, I was like, please get her off the show. She always just seems so miserable to be there. And it's like, I'm sorry, are we keeping you from making your cookies out of your apartment and that business she had or doing anything else? It's like people probably die to be on the show, would sell like a kidney on the black market to be on the show. And a lot of them probably have friends that maybe have said, like, if there's ever a spot, like throw my name like their way. So I was glad we got rid of her. She was like a fuddy-duddy, always like, "Meh." Um, Glad we kept Gabby. Little sad we don't have Sam, though. She would have been interesting, especially since she's single. Was she single, though, last summer? I don't think so. I guess she was with Corey. Ugh, then we would have got Corey, I guess. So maybe it's best Sam's not there. But, yeah, appearance by Chris, but we didn't waste any time having him talk on the camera because we really didn't have him talk on the camera last year when he was a full cast member. So we've already forgotten about you, Chris, but we saw you pop in. But Ciara's modeling manager comes in, meets Wes, immediately asks the intentions, like a shakedown almost. No, I'm just kidding. But he's like, I don't want to like intimidate you, but like she's just really important and special. And like, I don't want you to like break her heart and be a poop head, basically. And he's like, "No, like, I really like her." And I feel like West isn't doing anything wrong, and everyone is like, "Don't hurt Ciara." And he's like, "Honestly, she's hurting me because I just, wanna get it on with her, and she's not giving me a chance, so I'm thinking it's me and something's wrong with me, but I'm not doing anything wrong." And he's being a perfect gentleman, honestly. But Lindsay is keeping an eye on the single ladies, living vicariously through them. Gabby and Danielle with Balloon Guy Joe. He has showed up ready to party, not dressed in the theme though. That's always like some negative points. Maybe it's because he came alone too. Like when these people come in, I love when the guests dress up too, but they usually come and they're like close with a cast member and they come with like 5 or 6 people. So I get it. He's showing up solo. And, Danielle goes right in, and Gabby went up to and was chatting because she's like, "Hi, I'm Gabby." It's like, "I can introduce myself now because I have, like, makeup and, like, a cute outfit on." Like, I looked like a hot mess earlier. She didn't say that, but that's basically the subtext of that. But then Danielle is just relentlessly stealing all the attention, which it's like, that's what I mean. Like, not to be rude and not to judge and not to be graphic, but Danielle, I think we need to give your vagina a break because you've been banging it out with dudes. Like every week you come in the house and you're like, oh, I had sex with this like random guy. Um, Let Gabby maybe have this one. Okay. Like, I think you've been busy enough in the extracurricular activities. And Gabby's like, I am not gonna stand over there and, like, fight to the death for, like, a guy saying this to Amanda and Paige, and it's because I totally forgot. She's like, "Remember, I already went down this road, and it's because Gabby's ex cheated on her with Danielle, and I remember that bomb was dropped last season at a dinner, and they showed the flashback, and I don't think they knew each other yet." But still, what a small world and how ironic if they didn't know each other. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I think. But she's like, I'm not going to do that again and like fight for a guy. But then Lindsay comes over, of course, because, Lindsay likes that. Lindsay and Danielle are very similar. Like, they'll fight to the death for a guy and they'll like take out a friend if they need to, I feel like. And she's like, come on, you need to get at it because I'm living vicariously through the both of you and go up there and give me a show. Gabby's like, no, I'm good. Oh, and there's like a delicious pizza truck there. And the pizza guy comes over, gives them some pizza. And I'm like, oh, that looks really good. And then there's like a big blow up tent that has like laser tag, but that was a no for me because it looked so claustrophobic in there. And if you're drinking, that's a no. In theory, it looks cool. I would love to hear stories of people going in there, but I would not go in there because I would be a little I'm not claustrophobic, but if it's that small, I am. Like, I don't get in an elevator and I, like, freak out. But if I'm in, like, this blow up thing that could, like, cave in on us and we could suffocate, and I'm drinking and I, like, can't even, they were walking through, like, stuffed sausages. They were, like, very tight in there. But Paige tells Amanda about Danielle saying that she's giving nothing to Craig. And she's like, I basically like in one ear out the other. Like if it came from you or Ciara, I would take thought to it, but it's coming from her. And I'm like, yeah, no, bye. They're not close like that enough to like talk like that. I feel like Paige saying what she said to Lindsay the last episode was like enough because they are like closer, I would say, than Paige and Danielle are. But it was still like a stretch for like Paige even to talk like that with Lindsay. But yeah, I don't think she's losing sleep over it, honestly. And then Lindsay and Carl talk about the non-alcoholic lover boy thing. So I feel like he's using this as a tactic to either set her up to look crazy, lunatic Lindsay. So like the wedding call off is all her fault because I really honestly think he's like having doubts right now. I don't think ever had doubts of getting married, but why she thinks they should get married is news to me. Like she's rated their sex life at 2.5. They're always fighting. She's accusing him of doing coke, and she likes when he leaves for long periods of time. It's like, okay, but you still want to get married? So I think it's odd to have kind of a serious conversation when she's drinking, and you definitely can tell she's been drinking when they sit down. Her and Kyle are like the same. They like change their voice a little and like the eyes. Like, so he's just saying that like he really would like see himself doing the non-alcoholic lover boy thing. And Lindsay is like, "Yeah, fine. That's fine. Just figure everything out. Honestly, I just need to get turned on by you for having a job." And she's kinda laying the financial input on him. And she's like, "What if I wanna stay at home with our kids and not work?" I was shocked she said that because I definitely always thought she was gonna be like a worker bee, but Carl said it's hard to have a partner that doesn't believe in you in his confessional. It's like, it's hard to wanna get married to someone that doesn't believe in you. It's next episode, I think we're gonna see him talking with his parents. They're basically gonna be like, "You shouldn't get married," and then that's when it's gonna start to spiral down. But he should have called it off then. Instead, he still waited, let her have the shower. I don't know. It's definitely getting good. Loving Summer House this season. Love seeing the demise of the relationship, as sad as that was. But I'm also ready to see a hot hub summer tear it up with Danielle, and maybe I think Gabby's still single. So the three of them be Trace Amigas tearing up Montauk. As always, this was so fun, and you could find me on Instagram at Bravo T with the Stay at Home Mom, Spotify, and Apple. Till next time, see ya.